Spoiler alert for the movies Mother, with an exclamation mark, Annihilation, Oculus, and Get Out. Hi, it's Noah, I'm back. Gonna be talking about more dissociation related stuff. So in my last video, I said I was going to review some movies that I related to on a dissociation level. The similarities I find between certain parts of the movies and fuck my life. I want to share some of these similarities for me so that it's very, very difficult to put words to the experience of dissociation. So if you have family members or loved ones that just aren't really getting it and words don't do it justice, you can maybe show them these movies and you can be like, this part is very reminiscent of what dissociation feels like, which was very helpful for me at the time because my mom was like, I don't know. So the first one is a movie that I watched pretty recently with my partner. It's called Mother, and it's this movie about it's Jennifer Lawrence in a house, and she can't leave the house because she is the house. Basically, she's like a metaphor for Mother Nature. Long story. But throughout the entire movie, there's this sense that she doesn't have control over anything. And her house is something that she's worked really hard for, and it's the sacred place for her, and just the husband that she's with keeps inviting people in, and it's really uncomfortable because she's not okay with it, and seemingly no one seems to pay attention to what she wants, or she wants people to leave, she wants people to respect her space and privacy, but these people keep coming in, asking invasive questions. They seem to not even notice that she's there sometimes. At a certain point, it starts getting wild and there's chaos and nothing seems to really make sense, and the events seem to be unprompted. The chaos seems to come out of nowhere. You don't really understand what's going on, and it's all from her perspective, so you don't really get the perspective of anyone else, which is very much like what dissociation feels like. You feel like you're stuck in your head and you can't, I don't know, almost like there's no more narrative in your life. It's just every moment happening right now, and there's no preamble to why that moment is happening. The biggest thing for me is that she is so uncomfortable and so upset and bothered by all the chaos happening in the house, but she can't leave the house. And that's also very much dissociation for me, is it's happening and you can't leave, and that's something that's really alarming. Ooh! Okay, so I remember, if you ever have seen Get Out, the film by Jordan Peele, there's a part where the main character gets sent by one of the other characters to a sunken place, and it's basically the movie, he's just he's in this, it's sort of his consciousness is receding into his head, and he just falls further and further down, and what he's able to see through his eyes just gets smaller and smaller. So he's having, it just feels like what's happening in real life seems really, really distant, and he doesn't have any control over it, and it's very dark. And I think he's being hypnotized, and that feels very similar to what dissociation feels like, is that you're in this hypnosis and it's very uncomfortable and you want to leave but you can't. That was also a very uncomfortable movie to watch if you are sensitive to racial violence. I would definitely do a content warning there. The next one is also a horror movie. It's called Oculus, and I think it's on Netflix. Actually, this movie reminds me a little bit more of Psychosis than it does Dissociation, but for me they're very linked in a way, so I'm still gonna cover it. Basically, the movie revolves around a haunted mirror, and one of the main characters is this thing is haunted, it's making us do things that we don't want to do, and the other character is I don't believe you, that's ridiculous, stop being... And at some point, as they're... So in the room that they're in, there's two cameras facing this mirror that they don't want to leave out of their sight. And while they're fighting, they don't even realize that they're doing this thing, but once they sort of like snap out of it and are finished arguing, they see that the two cameras are facing each other. And when they look at the footage of another camera looking at them, they can see that while they're arguing, they're actually putting the cameras in front of each other, but they don't remember doing this. That's very dissociated, psychosis-y feels for me, because you're doing things you don't realize you're doing, or you imagine places or doing things and you think you actually did them, but I don't know, it's just like things that feel real, suddenly you're not too sure if they feel real anymore. Your memory kind of gets shot, or at least mine does. I can't remember like things I did 5 seconds ago, and I'll go just say like I'm upstairs and I'll go downstairs to get some coffee or something, and I'll go back upstairs, and if I don't have physical proof that, like, if I don't have the coffee mug in my hand, I'll be like, how do I know for certain that I was downstairs? Maybe I just really imagined it super vividly and that didn't really happen. So basically, unless I have physical evidence of something happening, if I were to just go downstairs and go back upstairs, there would be no way for me to really know if I had actually gone downstairs or not, if I was dissociated. The characters are trying to keep a grasp on reality, but the mirror keeps like disorienting them, and they're having trouble to keep recalibrating every time like what really is real, and it just kind of sort of like wears down on them, which is something that's also a part of dissociation, is like it's very exhausting to keep trying to figure out what's going on all the time. The last movie I'm going to talk about in this video is this movie that came out recently. I saw it in theaters. It's called Annihilation. And I think it's starring Natalie Portman and Oscar Isaac and Tessa Thompson, and a couple other like big people. But essentially there's this sort of like mystical bubble that no one who's ever gone in ever comes out. And once they go in, they have like a compass and a timer, and so they first of all they breach the barrier, I guess, and then the next time the next time that they check their timer, it's been a couple days, but none of them can remember what happened in the past couple days, and like 3 days worth of supplies is missing, but they don't know what has happened, but they're all clearly fine, so they made it. So as far as they know, they're 3 days in, but they can't remember any of it. The feel of the movie is very like surreal and like a little bit absurdist. At some point, spoiler alert, just at the end of the movie, one of the characters suddenly, I guess, becomes like sort of this black hole. Like all their energy just keeps getting recalibrated, and like I don't know, she was being like annihilated, and to me that's sort of, this is more a psychosis feel again, but again, like it's very related, that when I was very dissociated, I would feel like I was constantly like waking up or being destroyed all the time, and just, it was like I kept existing again, but more or less. It depends. And again, like I said, a lot of the times, like, it's such a strange experience that you can't really put words to it. So maybe if you watch these movies, maybe give them a try, and see if you relate to them. I would love to know if any of you relate to them. And I did get all your suggestions in terms of movies that reminded you of dissociation, which I will watch. I haven't yet, but it's summer, so, and it's very hot out, so I want to stay inside and watch the movies. That's pretty much it. So thanks for watching. Look at this perfect baby. Hi. I hope all of this recorded. There's a good chance it may not have.